This little girl wanted to run her grandma's restaurant but faced many obstacles. She prays for help, but instead of kind humans, she gets help from the ancient guardian spirits. Many generations ago, spirits lived amongst humankind, protecting them from the dangers of the world. Two of these spirits, Shen Tu and Lei, were sworn to defend any home that hung their special posters on its front doors. They're known as the Guardian Brothers. The trouble is, the world has changed. Humans learned to live without the spirits and eventually forgot they ever existed. They stopped hanging posters, and now the spirit realm is in a constant state of disorder. But there are some places that keep the old traditions alive, like this soup shop in the heart of the city. It's run by a sweet grandma whose daughter, Luli, lives out of the city. Luli often visits her mother along with her own daughter, Rain. The grandma gets really happy to see them and invites them inside the shop. Luli asks about the Guardian posters on the doors, and the grandma explains that the Guardian brothers have looked after this shop for thousands of years. Rain also wants to learn about the spirits, but the grandma asks her to take some rest first. Moreover, she should also try grandma's famous soup. After the dinner, Rain starts exploring the shop and finds a beautiful music box. She loves it just like her grandma does. After a few days, the grandma starts feeling unwell and eventually passes away. Luli and Rain get really sad and say goodbye to Grandma in a traditional way. They launch a floating lantern with Grandma's music box and wish her soul to rest in peace. After her death, Luli carries on the family traditions even though the rest of the world has changed. Grandma may have died, but it's Luli's responsibility to look after their soup shop. Rain gets really worried and wishes that the guardian spirits help them. Other people float lanterns in the sky for fun, but Luli and Rain know a little secret which Grandma told them. All the lanterns fly to the spirit world, high above in the clouds. The lanterns get tangled in the branches of the ancient spirit tree, which has grown on the mountain for thousands of years. This tree is watched over by the Guardian brothers. Lately, they both have been jobless because the humans have stopped believing in them. Anyone who talks about spirit guardians, others call him a fool. They have totally forgotten how the spirit guardians look after them for thousands of years. Shen Tu gets really upset after hearing this news and feels disappointed in humans. Suddenly, his brother Lei calls him to show the spirit tree covered in lanterns. It seems like humans are calling them for help. However, Shen Tu has given up on humans already and asks Lei to come back to senses. No one is going to call them ever again. Suddenly, they hear Grandma's music box, and Lei excitedly rushes to get it. Shen Tu jumps to stop him, as he can't trust anything that is sent by selfish humans. Their elder, Beckett, joins their conversation and advises Lei to accept the facts. But Lei believes that they should start visiting Earth again. That's how humans will remember them. Otherwise, their last few traces will also disappear forever. Before Shen Tu can say anything further, they get visited by the mayor's assistant, Dean, and the mighty baby spirits. He delivers a letter to Beckett and invites them to the citizens' meeting. All of them will gather to discuss their unpopularity among humans and what to do with their posters on Earth, which serves as portals between spirit and human world. For now, Dean forbids the Guardian brothers from using any portal. Afterward, they take them to the spirit hall for the meeting. The mayor greets everyone and briefs about his mission of removing all the Guardian posters so they no longer have to serve the humans. They all start celebrating and dancing in joy. After the ceremony, the mayor reveals that there's someone who broke the rules and was seen using the spirit portal. It's no other than Beckett. He went to help an old lady who fell down. The mayor doesn't like Beckett sticking to the old customs, so he banishes him and takes away his guardian robes. The brothers feel really sorry for him, as no guardian was ever banished before. Beckett explains that he can't stop himself from helping people in need. He suddenly points at the painted walls and tells the Guardian brothers that the walls used to tell the story of a great battle of spirits and humans against the Nian. It was an ancient evil shapeshifter who wanted to conquer the whole universe. The Nian was split into 3 pieces, and each one of them was locked away in a secret location, bound by a mystical seal. But humans forgot this war and the fact that they need to work together with the spirits and trust each other to conquer the world. After hearing the story, Lei gets a crazy idea. He wants to free the Nian so the humans and spirits have to unite again to defeat the monster. He asks for Beckett's help, who reveals that all the 3 seals are in the human world. He also gives a magic leaf to Lei that will guide him to the seals. Beckett knows how risky this mission is, but if the mayor destroys all the portals, the human and spirit world will be separated forever. Now is the time to act. Meanwhile, on Earth, Luli and Rain have taken over the soup shop. They are following the same recipe their grandma used to make. There are many loyal customers who still visit the shop, but the youngsters are bored with the same taste of the soup. Taking advantage of the situation, Luli's annoying neighbor, Mr. Rogman, has opened a fancy restaurant across the street. With his variety of dishes and marketing skills, he has already made a lot of customers. Luli's problems increase when a noisy truck stops at her doorstep. She asks the drivers to move, but they don't bother. Mr. Rogman reaches there immediately and breaks some walnuts with his bare hands to show off his strength. The truck drivers get scared and run away. Afterward, Mr. Rogman starts trying to convince Luli to sell her shop. He talks about the ingredients cost and utility bills that are difficult to pay with the low profit Luli is earning. To make him leave, Rain puts some chilies in the soup and serves it to Mr. Rogman. He can't bear the spiciness and runs away. The truck drivers were actually sent by him to make him look like a savior. Unfortunately, his plan didn't work. He is not the only problem Rain has in her life. She struggles to fit in this new place. The other kids don't like to play with her because her grandma always used to talk about spirits. Rain gets heartbroken and asks her mother to take her back to the city, but Luli explains that this shop is their new home. It's a treasure that was passed down from generation to generation. However, Rain doesn't want to own this shop and runs away in anger. She sits down near the lake and regrets her life decisions. She suddenly notices a few scary dogs and runs to save herself. Luckily, she finds Yulei, who came from the spirit world to find Nian. He uses his jade ring to scare away the dogs and introduces himself as a guardian. Rain gets really excited to meet him and keeps following him with a bunch of questions. Yulei asks her to go back home because he is on an important mission right now. He gives his jade ring to Rain for protection. Yulei feels really glad to help a human after such a long time and feels confident in his decision. Rain goes back home and apologizes to her mother while Yulei uses the magic leaf to find the seal. He reaches the lake where he finds his spirit friend, Colossus. He is ordered by the mayor to guard the seal but has no idea what it holds. When Yulei shows his desire to break the seal, Colossus doesn't get in the way because he is already tired of his boring job. He runs away while Yulei takes his golden form to lift all the fish out of the lake. One of them is a dragon in disguise that will suck all the rivers dry. Moreover, it takes away Yulei's youth to get power to break the first seal. Rain is peacefully sleeping at home, but the jade ring around her neck starts to fly. It pulls Rain out of the bed and takes her to the forest where she witnesses the dragon flying away. The next morning when Luli opens the tap, there's no water. She decides to get some from the stream, but Mr. Rogman meets her on the way and tells her about all the rivers getting dried. It happened last night, but no one knows how. He offers Luli some water from his reserves and brings the hose. But little does Luli know, Mr. Rogman has added dangerous chemicals in the water. Luli uses it to cook soup, but it makes all of her customers run to the toilet. Soon, the health inspector arrives because he has gotten reports of food contamination. Luli tries to explain that the recipe is 1,000 years old, so there's no way it can cause any disease, but the inspector doesn't listen. He seals the shop immediately and leaves. Meanwhile, in the spirit world, Colossus comes to meet Shen Tu and tells him about Yulei breaking the seal. He exaggerates the story and says that Yulei has gone crazy and beats everyone in his way. Shen Tu gets really worried for his brother and uses the portal to get to the human world. Rain was wandering in the streets and got attacked by the dogs again, but this time Shen Tu saved him. He notices the jade ring and asks Rain where she got it from. Rain gets really happy to know that Shen Tu is also a guardian and begs him for help. She takes him to meet the health inspector. The inspector mistakes Shen Tu as an old friend and agrees to pay another visit to the soup shop. If they fail to pass the test, the shop will be sealed forever. Shen Tu has to leave now to find Yulei, but Rain drags him to the shop and tells her mother about the inspection visit. She introduces Shen Tu as her friend and asks him to help in cleaning the shop. Shen Tu can't say no to the sweet little girl and agrees to help. They spend hours cleaning the shop and welcome the health inspector. He checks each and every corner and gets impressed with the hygiene. Afterward, he proceeds to check the soup, but a cockroach appears before him. He was about to blame the soup shop, but noticed the cockroach heading outside along with its other mates. They all live in Rogman's kitchen in the neighborhood. The health inspector breaks into the kitchen and seals Rogman's restaurant right away. Luli's soup shop is open again and running better than ever. Shen Tu is also happy because he felt really good after helping the humans. His job is done in the soup shop, so he asks Rain's help in finding his brother. Yulei has reached the next seal already. There he meets Bloom, a female spirit who always tried to pursue him, but he never gave her a chance. Here she is guarding the seal and has no intention of letting Yulei break it. After defeating him in a fight, she starts talking about how Yulei always acted so selfish. Yulei sits down to comfort her, but he is actually distracting her so he can break the seal. Bloom gets really angry when she finally understands what Yulei did. As the seal breaks, the second part of Nian escapes, leaving behind a storm of flower petals. Rain and Shen Tu reach there too, using the jade ring, and get shocked to see how Yulei has grown old in just a day. Yulei explains that he has to sacrifice his youth to break the seals. Shen Tu asks him to stop because it is having negative effects on the world. Soon, Yulei will unintentionally destroy everything, but he is still not listening to his brother and leaves. Shen Tu takes away the jade blade to follow Yulei and asks Rain to stay at home. Things are getting dangerous and he can't risk the little girl's life. Rain continues to work in the shop, but the petals on her clothes fall in the soup. It enhances the flavor and all the customers love the new kick. Luli gets really happy as they have earned the biggest profit today since they started working here. She wants to celebrate, but Rain doesn't seem to be in that mood. She tells her mother that she has no more petals left for the next day. Luli asks her daughter to cheer up as there are still plenty of spices in this world. It's time for them to do things differently and finally change the recipe of the soup after 1,000 years. They stay up all night and try different combinations. They fail several times, but also learn about new flavors. A person who never makes mistakes never gets to try anything new. Mistakes help you discover great things. The next morning, they serve their new recipe and all the customers love it. The kids who once mocked Rain also want to taste her recipe. They admire her talent and invite her to play with them. Rain gladly says yes and gives guardian posters as a gift to her new friends. Meanwhile, Yulei has reached the building where he can find the last seal. He notices all the posters and statues that look identical to him. They even tell the story of breaking seals even though they are hundreds of years old. He suddenly notices an old man who claims to be the creator of all these posters and statues. He reminds Yulei of his glorious past and how he destroyed everything. He is not helping the world, but it's the Nian who is using Yulei to get free again. While Yulei is questioning his life choices, Shen Tu is stuck in the spirit world and looks for a portal to reach his brother. Without the guardians, the soup shop is under threat and Mr. Rogman sneaks in to steal the new recipe. He grabs the ingredients on the counter and blocks the pressure cooker so it can explode to destroy the shop. Rain witnesses everything and stops him at the door. Instead of getting ashamed, Mr. Rogman ties up the little girl and forces her to tell the recipe. Luckily, Shen Tu has defeated Dean and the mighty babies and arrives to help Rain. After getting rid of Mr. Rogman, they rush to find Yulei, but forget about the pressure cooker. The old man tells Yulei that Nian has been watching him for a long time and has guided him to the seals. After knowing this all, if he still wants to break the seal, then it's right in front of him. Shen Tu reaches there to stop him, but Yulei can hear Nian's voice that encourages him to break the last seal. Shen Tu shows Rain and tells Yulei that humans still need the guardian spirits. Yulei finally realizes his mistake and leaves his sword stuck in the seal. Shen Tu assumes that Yulei forgot the sword, so he pulled it out, but this breaks the seal. The evil Nian is free and ready to take over the world. A storm has attacked the village while the spirit world is getting destroyed too. Rain gives the jade ring to Yulei and rushes back to save her shop. It's destroyed by the pressure cooker and now they are attacked by the storm monster. Rain notices that the monster is afraid of the fireworks. She immediately grabs a bunch of explosives and firecrackers and asks the villagers to help her in scaring away the monster. Meanwhile, Yulei is blaming himself for putting the world in danger. Shen Tu reminds him that he was controlled by Nian. Even though he made mistakes, it can't change the fact that Yulei is a protector. He is a guardian spirit. Nian has possessed the spirit tree and turned into a giant monster. Yulei notices that the weakest spot of the monster is the stone heart in the center. They must find a way to stab there. The guardian brothers take help from the mighty babies and fly to the heart of the monster. Yulei throws the jade ring to the heart, but it needs to be pressed deeper. The monster has grabbed the guardian brothers, so they can't reach the heart. Shen Tu suddenly remembers about the grandma's music box and uses it to press down the jade ring. It destroys Nian and seals it back. The storm has disappeared and everything is back in place. After returning to the spirit world, the guardian brothers open a restaurant and serve delicious food. Rain's soup shop is also doing well. The spirit guardians visit her less often, but she knows that there's someone who is always watching over her.